Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 12, Chapter 2, the symptoms of Kali Yuga, text number 5 onwards. Anadaya teva sadhutve sadhutve damba eva tu srikara eva chodvahe snanam eva prasadhanam. A person will be judged unholy if he does not have money, and hypocrisy will be accepted as virtue. Marriage will be arranged simply by verbal agreement, and a person will think he is fit to appear in public if he has merely taken a bath. Modern sociologists have demonstrated that in those societies chiefly governed by the Protestant ethic, poverty is considered a sign of indolence, dirtiness, stupidity, unholiness, immorality, and worthlessness. In a God-conscious society, however, many persons voluntarily decide to dedicate their lives not to material acquisition, but rather to the pursuit of knowledge and spirituality. Thus, a preference for the simple and austere may indicate intelligence, self-control, and sensitivity to the higher purpose of life. Of course, in itself, poverty does not establish these virtues, but it may sometimes be the result of them. In Kali Yuga, however, this possibility is often forgotten. So that is true. Poverty is just considered you're not holy. Person is not holy, and it's a kind of a parasite on the society. Somebody is poor. The word dambha indicates a self-righteous hypocrite, someone not so much concerned with being saintly as with appearing saintly. In the age of Kali, there is a rather large number of self-righteous, hypocritical religious fanatics claiming to have the only way, the only truth, and the only light. In many countries, this mentality has resulted in brutal repression of religious freedom and thus destroyed the opportunity for enlightened spiritual dialectic. Fortunately, there are also many countries where there is a system of free religious expression. Even in these countries, however, self-righteous hypocrites consider sincere and saintly followers of other disciplines to be heathens and devils. And that's pretty much all over the world. Western religious fanatics are usually addicted to many bad habits such as smoking, drinking, sex, gambling, and animal slaughter. Although the followers of the Krishna consciousness movement strictly avoid illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, and animal killing, and although they dedicate their lives to the constant glorification of God, self-righteous hypocrites claim that such strict austerity and devotion to God are tricks of the devil. Thus, the sinful are promoted as religious and the saintly are decried as demoniac. This pathetic incapacity to grasp the most rudimentary criteria of spirituality is a prominent system of Kali Yuga. So hypocrisy is at its extreme, and it will grow more and more. In this age, the institution of marriage will degenerate. Indeed, already a marriage certificate is sometimes cynically rejected as a mere piece of paper. Forgetting the spiritual purpose of marriage and misunderstanding sex to be the goal of family life, lusty men and women directly engage in sexual affairs without the troublesome formalities and responsibilities of a legal relationship. Such foolish people argue that sex is natural. But if sex is natural, pregnancy and childbirth are equally natural. And for the child, it is certainly natural to be raised by a loving father and mother. And in fact, to have the same father and mother throughout his life. Psychological studies confirm that a child needs to be cared for by both his father and his mother, and thus it is obviously natural for sex to be accompanied by a permanent marriage arrangement. Hypocritical people justify unrestricted sex by saying it is natural, but to avoid the natural consequence of sex, pregnancy, they use contraceptives, which certainly do not grow on trees. Indeed, contraceptives are not at all natural. This hypocrisy and foolishness abound in the age of Kali. And in fact, I was shocked that somebody posted on Facebook or somewhere that what was the most asked for gift for Christmas last year, December 2022, in United Kingdom. Children, especially children, when they ask the children, what gift do you want? 60% of children said, like to have father. Means after their birth, the father mother has separated, so father is living somewhere else, and children are just living with their mothers. That's it. So this is definitely Kali, and this is what Varna Sankar that Arjun was worried about. The verse concludes by saying that people will neglect to ornament their bodies properly in the present age. A human being should decorate his body with various religious ornaments. Vaishnavas mark their bodies with tilak, blessed with the holy name of God. But in the age of Kali, religious and even material formalities are thoughtlessly discarded. And just after taking bath, a person can appear in public. But we don't know that the importance and power of chanting of the holy names. Even while taking bath, one should chant the holy names. And then after taking bath, one should apply tilak on Vaishnavas. We apply tilak on different parts of the body. So then the body becomes a temple. A body is a temple of the Lord, and it is properly worshipped, properly taken care of. Then one can appear in the public. Dure vaya yanam tirtham lavanyam keshadharanam udaram bharata swartha satyatve dharshyam eva hi dakshyam kutum bharanam yasho arthe dharma sevanam. A sacred place will be taken to consist of no more than a reservoir of water located at a distance, and beauty will be thought to depend on one's hairstyle. Lavanya keshadharanam. Filling the belly will become the goal of life, and one who is audacious will be accepted as truthful. He who can maintain a family will be regarded as an expert man, and the principles of religion will be observed only for the sake of reputation. In India, there are many sacred places through which holy rivers flow. Foolish persons eagerly seek redemption from their sins by bathing in these rivers, but do not take instructions from learned devotees of the Lord who reside in such places. One should go to a holy place seeking spiritual enlightenment and not just for ritualistic bathing. So then the reason one should go to holy places, listen to sadhus, associated devotees. There's so many sadhus, especially if you go to Vrindavan or Braj, so many sadhus are there. One should listen to them, learn from them. In this age, people tirelessly arrange their hair in different styles, trying to enhance their facial beauty and sexuality. But they do not know that actual beauty comes from within the heart, from the soul, and that only a person who's pure is truly attractive. As the difficulties of this age increase, filling one's belly will be the mark of success. And one who can maintain his own family will be considered brilliant in economic affairs. So one who can maintain his family, yes, that is brilliant. Not that one who is advanced spiritually. Religion will be practiced, if at all, only for the sake of reputation and without any essential understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So many people go to the temples or churches or mosques just to get this reputation that he or she is a very religious person, and then then people start trusting them, and then they start giving them business, money transactions take place, and this is the purpose actually, not to make spiritual progress. एवं प्रजाभिर्दुष्टाभिर आकीर्णे क्षितिमण्डले ब्रह्मविट्ट क्षत्र शूद्राणां यो बलि भविता नृपा. As the earth thus becomes crowded with a corrupt population, whoever among any of the social classes shows himself to be the strongest will gain political power. प्रजा ही लुब्ध राजन्य निर्घृणैर दस्यु धर्म भी Achinadharar Dravina Yasyanti Girikananam, losing their wives and properties to such avaricious and merciless rulers who will behave no better than ordinary thieves. The citizens will flee to the mountains and forests. And even these kind of rulers, they won't even spare mountains or forests. शाक मूला मिश शोद्र फल पुष्पाष्टि भोजन अनावृष्ट्या विनंक्षयन्ति दुर्भिक्ष कर पीड़िता. Harassed by famine and excessive taxes, people will resort to eating leaves, fruits, flesh, wild honey, fruits, flowers, and seeds. Struck by drought, they will become completely ruined. Even Bhagavatam authoritatively describes the future of our planet. Just as a leaf disconnected from a plant or tree dries up, withers, and disintegrates, when human society is disconnected from the Supreme Lord, it withers up and disintegrates in violence and chaos. Despite our computers and rockets, if the Supreme Lord does not send rain, we shall all starve. Or even if he sends too much rain, that's also a problem. So it's not our computers or factories where we produce it. As Prabhupada said, nuts and bolts, we can survive. We're not going to eat nuts and bolts. We need grains, we need flowers, we need fruits. And that can only happen by rain. No other possibility. So studying these symptoms of Kali Yuga, which are bad, Kali Yuga is very, very bad time. And it is bad now. What will happen? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu blessed Kali Yuga, 10,000 years of Kali Yuga, saying this is golden. So Mahaprabhu was 500 years ago. So 9,500 more years are still blessed by Mahaprabhu. And we still see the Kali Yuga is bad. Just imagine what will happen after 9,500 more years. We don't even want to imagine. Although we have been through many, many Kali Yugas before. But now at least we have some knowledge. Knowledge that why should I suffer here? Why should I go through another lifetime? Or why should I even go through more worst situations of Kali Yuga? Why? I don't have to. And whatever it is mentioned, it's either it is true right now we are seeing, or it will be true in the future. So why? Nobody is asking us to go through it again and again and suffer more and more in Kali Yuga. Let's just finish it off this lifetime. So let's just do our bhakti so much. And Prabhupada just takes us back. If we can chant more rounds, more than 16 is just minimum. Why not 32? Chant more rounds. So less time for anything else. Just we got to be serious. Srimad Bhagavatam, okay, this already covered. Text 10. Shitavata tap pravrid imer anyo anyata praja Ksutrid bhayam vyadibhishcha santapsyante sacha chintaya. The citizens will suffer greatly from cold, wind, heat, rain, and snow. They will be further tormented by quarrels, hunger, thirst, disease, and severe anxiety. Trishad Vinshati Varshani Paramayu Kalo Nranam. The maximum duration of life for human beings in Kali Yuga will become 50 years. Maximum duration. Even that will be like, oh, you're a very, very old person, 50 years. Kriyamaneshu dehesu dehinam kalidoshata varnashramvatam dharme nashte vedapathe nirnam pashanda prachure dharme dasyu prayeshu rajasu chorya nrita vritha hinsa nana vrittishu venrishu Sudra prayeshu varneshu chag prayeshu deneshu grihi prayeshu ashrameshu yona prayeshu bandhushu anu prayasvaushadhishu shami prayeshu sthasnushu vidyut prayeshu megheshu shunya prayeshu satmasu ittham kalo gatpraye janeshu khar dharmshu dharma taranaya satvena bhagwan vattarishyati. Okay, more glories of Kali Yuga. By the time the age of Kali ends, the bodies of all creatures will be greatly reduced in size, and the religious principles of followers of Varnashram will be ruined. The path of the Vedas will be completely forgotten in human society, and so-called religion will be mostly atheistic. The kings will mostly be thieves. The occupations of men will be stealing, lying, and needless violence. And all the social classes will be reduced to the lowest level of Shudras. Cows will be like goats. Spiritual hermitages will be no different from mundane houses. And family ties will extend no further than the immediate bonds of marriage. This is happening even right now. What to speak of end of Kali Yuga? Most plants and herbs will be tiny, and all trees will appear like dwarf shami trees. Clouds will be full of lightning. Homes will be devoid of piety, and all human beings will have become like asses, donkeys. At that time, the Supreme Personality of Godhead will appear on the earth. Acting with the power of pure spiritual goodness, he will rescue eternal religion, Sanatan Dharma. Significantly, these verse points out that the most called religions in this verse will be atheistic, Pashanda Prachure Dharme. In confirmation of the Bhagavatam prediction, the United States Supreme Court has recently ruled that to be considered a religion, a system of belief need not recognize a supreme being. Means you don't need to be, some person has to be their God. You don't have to believe in God to be religious. Also, many atheistic, voidistic belief systems are often imported from the Orient, or like Eastern countries, have attracted the attention of modern atheistic scientists who expound on the similarities between Eastern and Western voidism in fashionable esoteric books. So these verses vividly describe many unsavory symptoms of the age of Kali. Ultimately, at the end of this age, Lord Krishna will descend as Kalki and remove the thoroughly demoniac persons from the face of the earth. Charachar Gurur Vishnur Ishwarasya Akhilatmana Dharmatranaya Sadhunam Janma Karmapa Anuttaye. Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the spiritual master of all moving and non-moving living beings, and the Supreme Soul of all, takes birth to protect the system principles of religion and to relieve his saintly devotees from the reactions of material work. So, yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati. So that's a basic theme of his appearance. So Kalki Avatar, he will come. Shambhal Gram Mukhyasya Brahmanasya Mahatmana Bhavane Vishnu Yashasa Kalki Pradur Bhavishyati. Lord Kalki will appear in the house, in the home of the most eminent Brahman of Shambhal village, the great soul Vishnu Yasha. So his father name will be Vishnu Yasha. He'll appear in the village of Shambhal. Lord Kalki will appear like that. Ashvam Ashugam Aruya Devadattam Jagatpati Asina Sadhu Damanam Ashtashvarya Gunanvita Vicharana Shunakshonyam Haena Pratim Udyati Niripalinga Chado Dasyun Kotishu Nishyati. Lord Kalki, the Lord of the universe, will mount his swift horse Devadatta and sword in hand travel all over the earth, exhibiting his 8 mystic opulences and 8 special qualities of Godhead. Displaying his unequaled effulgence and riding with great speed, he will kill by the millions those thieves who have dared dress as kings. So no more preaching, he will just kill those thieves, kill those atheistic Rakshasas or demons. These verses describe the thrilling pastimes of Lord Kalki. Anyone would be attracted by the sight of a powerful, beautiful man riding on a wonderful horse at the lightning speed, chastising and devastating cruel, demoniac people with the sword in his hand. And he will kill all over the world, not just in India, all over the world. Of course, fanatical materialists may argue that this picture of Lord Kalki is a mere anthropomorphic creation of the human mind, a mythological deity created by people who need to believe in some superior being. But this argument is not logical, nor does it prove anything. It's merely the opinion of certain people. We need water, but that does not mean man creates water. We also need food, oxygen, and many other things that we do not create, since our general experience is that our needs correspond to available objects existing in the external world that we appear to need a Supreme Lord, would tend to indicate that in fact there is a Supreme Lord. In other words, nature endows us with the sense of need for things that actually exist and that are in fact necessary for our well-being. Similarly, we experience a need for God because we are in fact part of God and cannot live without Him. At the end of Kali Yuga, this same God will appear as a mighty Kalki Avatar and beat the pollution out of that demons. So, of course, those who don't have faith, they will say, "No, these are just mythological figures." And they in fact talk about Krishna and Rama as mythology. So, what to speak of Kalki Avatar, who is going to come 427,000 years later? Athatesham bhavishyanti manasi vishadani ve vasudevang ragati punya gandhani lisprisham or janapadanam ve hateshva khil dasyushu. After all the impostor kings have been killed, the residents of the cities and towns will feel the breezes carrying the most sacred fragrance of the sandalwood paste and other decorations of Lord Vasudeva, and their minds will thereby become transcendently pure. So nothing can surpass the sublime experience of being dramatically rescued by a great hero who happens to be the Supreme Lord. The death of the demons at the end of Kali Yuga is accompanied by fragrant spiritual breezes, and thus the atmosphere becomes most enchanting. Tesham praja visargascha sthavishcha sambhavishyati vasudeve bhagavati sattva-murto hridi sthite. When Lord Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appears in their hearts in his transcendental form of goodness, the remaining citizens will abundantly repopulate the earth. So this is how Satyuga will start, because Krishna will appear, or Lord Vasudeva, Krishna, Kalki Avatar, he will appear in their hearts in this transcendental form of goodness. Yadavatirano Bhagwan Kalkir Dharma Patir Hari Kritam Avishyati Tada Prajasutischa Satviki. When the Supreme Lord has appeared on the earth as Kalki, the maintainer of religion, Satyuga will begin and human society will bring forth progeny in the mode of goodness. So when it will begin, Yada Chandrascha Suryascha Tata Tishya Brihaspati Ekarasho Sameshyanti Bhavishyati Tada Kritam. When the moon, the sun and Brihaspati are together in the constellation Karkat, and all three enter simultaneously into the lunar mansion Pushya, at that exact moment, the age of Satya or Krita will begin. See, so much of details are given. There should not be any question of any doubts, any faithlessness. No, we don't believe it. Everything is given in Bhagavad. And in other scriptures, more details must be given. So this is how it's going to happen. But it's still some time away. So all we need to do, sir, that we need to perform our devotional service so nicely that we don't have to see this Kalki Avatar. Anyway, we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisance. Prabhuji, so at the time of Kalki Avatar, there will be no pious people will be left. So he will incarnate to just massacre all the non-devotees, right? Or is there any devotee will be also there to help him?
Some will be there, like his father is there, Vishnu, Yasha. So some will be there, obviously. It's always Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Chadushkra. Dharma Sansthapanarthaya Sambhavami Yuga Yuga. But population will be more of demoniac or atheistic people. So he'll come and kill them all. That's
so like after that it will be starting Satyuga will start. So there should be some people like in Lanka everyone was bad, but Vibhishan was a good person, so Lanka was given to him. So like that, so those devotee will start the Satyuga like that. I'm just
yeah, and also like somewhere else I studied that, I read that there'll be sages who will be living in the mountains and the forests. So they will come down, and with their help also Satyuga will start.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Aunt.
Long way to go.
Oh, yeah. Chalo, okay, you all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Ram.
Hare Krishna. Jai